Brett Yormark.
Brett
Yormark says that the Big 12, as we have propagated on this fine program, Brett Yormark says the Big 12 is in favor of expanding the NCAA tournament, and that soon he and his constituents in the conference will meet with Charlie Baker to talk about it. To which I say, I get it. And if I were Brett Yormark and his coaches and athletic directors, I'd be calling for expansion too. God, please don't let the NCAA tournament expand. I think if we saw this year, any year, where there's a great example of why not everybody should get in, because we don't give participation trophies in this here country.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA tournament is so good the way it is. And when you have teams missing the tournament on a buzzer beater, I'm all in favor of it. I am not in favor of going to 80 teams. I am not in favor of shortening the season to expand the tournament. I am not in favor of playing the NCAA tournament final around tax day. I'm just not here for it. We don't need to do that. Now, if I am the Big 12, I am all in doing everything I can do to expand the tournament. And let me be very clear, as I've said on the show before, our sources have told us point blank, the tournament will be expanded. It is going to happen. It's a matter of how and when, but not if. And I hate it. I hate everything about the NCAA tournament being expanded. It's special. It's unique. There is nothing like opening weekend in the NCAA tournament. There is nothing like, hey, the buzzer beaters. It is FAU and San Diego State. There's nothing like that. We don't need more, especially blue bloods. We don't need Kentucky in the tournament. We don't need, and I just don't think this is a need to expand the tournament. This is making sure that more people have access to make money, which again, I understand it. But if you're putting 80 teams in the tournament, if you're going from 64 to 72, even, that's 8 more teams that got a free pass. I hate that we're doing playing games.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 64-team round robin that a lot of people have called for, and I say, hell no. You win and you're out. You win and you're in. You lose, you're out. Single elimination. Don't make this say, well, you got to win 2 or 3. No.
Monty, we got the losers bracket working here.
64 teams to 32 teams to 16 teams to 8 teams to 4 teams to 2 teams to a champion. That's what this tournament should be. That's what it should have always been. But it won't. I am not in favor of it, but I totally understand it. If I were Brett Yormark, I would be beating down every single door.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I love the tournament the way it is. I think it is why the tournament is such a thing. Like it's one of those things every year that everybody can get around, and that's part of what I think March Madness should be. I think if you're, college athletics on the whole, you want Nancy, the secretary who doesn't watch sports, to do a bracket. You need these randos who are not sports fans typically, like academia. You need academia to do their bracket and like talk about it and figure it out. Like that is what March Madness is about. And yeah, I don't want it to change either, but the reality is it's going to change. It is going to expand because money trumps everything. And that's the hard part, is that I don't know how you get away from that. And it is unfortunate, but I'm hoping, I'm kind of with you on the format side. I'm hoping we don't do like, oh, well, we're expanding to 80 teams, and as part of that,
641 teams are in.
Like we're having, playing game here and this there. Like
Monty, we got to have a route for the best AAU team in the country to get into the tournament.
Like, I already don't like the NBA playing tournament. Like, I understand it. I get it. I know why we do it. I already don't like that. I think if you're not a top 8 team, you shouldn't be in. It's that simple.
I like when we have a bar set. And if you met the bar, you're in. If you didn't, you're out. Oh, you're 3-68 this season? Okay, win your conference tournament, you can get in. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. Oh, you don't right now, you're sitting on the outside looking in. Okay, run the table. Go to your conference tournament, win the tournament, get in.
And I think that's, again, the specialness of it. Like, I feel like so much in life, if we kind of take a big picture approach, like So much in life, we just want things to be easy. We just want them to be like, oh, yeah, I did this one thing, and that means I get everything. And it's like, no, dude, if you want accolades and you want to be remembered, what you're trying to do has to be hard. And that's what the tournament is right now.
Yeah. Yes, Boyd, that's exactly right. Why can't we have nice things? Why can't we have nice things? Oh, because money's involved. That's why, Boyd. You're totally right. 100% you're right. Andy, good morning, Andy Blackwell. Leave the tournament as it is.
Totally agree, bro.
Dude, what is going on in the group chat?
By the way, Andy, did you find the join button yet? Or where are we at with that?
Oh, fuck. So Loner Phone is in the... That's Loner Phone? Oh, Flipper Burger guy. Loner Phone's name is Robert Carolla, who obsessively messaged me on Instagram, so I muted him.
Yeah.
Now he's in the chat, and I can't mute him in the chat. Now I understand why you think that Apple still gives Loner Phones. Everybody in the chat is just putting GIFs of people talking on cell phones.
We show up.
Well, Loner Phone, you're off to a great start. You're off to a great start. Yes, Andy Blackwell, leave the tournament as it is. I totally agree. Mike Smith, so many more smaller schools and conferences in basketball that can get into the tourney versus college football. Yeah. And I think it's part of the greatness of the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
At 64 teams. Because if you go to, and I've heard wild numbers. Oh, we're going to go to 100. No, you're not. But if you add 12 more, or if you add, whatever the number is, it loses that speciality, that uniqueness.
Yeah.
Cinderella's slipper, like you lose that. Because now the Blue Bloods got stronger with the explosion of NIL in basketball. And again, I think one of the unintended consequences is probably intended was keeping kids in college longer. Well, you've done that. You've done that. Caitlin Clark, perfect example, right? She took a pay cut to go to the WNBA.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting to see how it plays out. And donuts. Yormark is sounding like a used car salesman lately, but what do you want him to do?
And why do you say that though? Like, because I feel like he's doing his job. He's tasked with the health of the conference, shepherding the conference forward in the big picture, and doing everything he can do to
shave Gundy's mullet.
Yeah, and ensure its survival long term. And I know it sounds crazy to say that, but after the Pac-12 situation, like I'm not taking things for granted. I'm not taking for granted that by 2030 we're still going to have 4 power conferences. I'm not taking that for granted. And I understand, sure, that, the grant of rights situation in the ACC, like that kind of ensures their survival. But like, again, I agree, without Texas and Oklahoma, what is the Big 12 right now? Like, because again, this is the age-old discussion around Utah. They are not good at branding themselves. Yes, Whittingham, football team. No basketball. Softball is pretty successful. They've got a decent baseball team. Like the women's gymnast team is outstanding. Like they've got a good athletic department, but it's frustrating.
Great point. What does this do to the NIT?
Yeah.
It's over. What NIT? It's over. It's as simple as that. It's over. Right? Like, did Utah basketball deserve an NCAA tournament bid this year? They would have got one in an expanded tournament. Right? I mean, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It is taking competition out and making more money. Yep. The state legislature of Kansas voted down the Star Bond proposals. What are you talking about? You're talking about the Chiefs thing? They showed the renderings of the new... Oh, that's dead. It's the panic. I don't think... And again, the Bears are getting laughed off their new lot of land.
That doesn't include parking.
The days of public money going to build stadiums for billionaires, unless you're in Utah, are over. Like, the Bears aren't getting public funds. The governor, the mayor of Chicago, state senators, like everybody is laughing at the idea that the Bears would get $2.6 billion in public money. Oh, but it's the Chiefs. They're a dynasty. We do it different here in Missouri. Well, apparently not, because you put it on the ballot and the people said, hell no.
Oh, you let the people decide, and what do we get?
And so all of a sudden now the Chiefs and the Rolls have been, filleting the state of Kansas. Because if you don't know, Kansas City is sitting on a state line, essentially. So it's always been Kansas versus Missouri as far as Kansas City goes. And we all know they both suck, right? But anyway, the point is,
Please continue. I agree.
well, you're a Kansas City guy.
Yeah, I agree.
What?
Yeah, they both suck.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Barbecue there's way overrated.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Smoke and Bones barbecue. Thank you.
Yeah.
The point is, friends, Kansas now is not willing to put it to a vote or a legislative initiative because they fear public backlash if they road grade and rubber stamp tax dollars going to the Hunts and the Chiefs and the Rolls. And why would you do that?